All right, welcome back, everybody. Ready for another deep dive?
Always ready to jump in.
Awesome. Today, we're going way back to ancient China. We're talking mythology. We're talking origin stories.
Oh, I love a good origin story. What have we got?
Well, let's just say it involves the sun. Actually, make that suns, plural.
Okay, now you've got my attention. Multiple suns. That's a new one.
Right. We're diving into a text called Xihe Drives the Sun, and it's pretty wild.
I bet. You know how much I love these ancient Chinese myths? Always so much depth and symbolism.
Exactly. So picture this. You're standing there, looking up at the sky, but instead of one sun, there are 10.
10 suns. Wow, I can only imagine what that would even be like.
Yeah, let's just say sunscreen would be the least of your worries. But before we get to that part of the story, we need to introduce you to Xihe.
Ah, Xihe. Now, she's a major figure in Chinese mythology, right?
Absolutely. She's a powerful goddess, often associated with the sun and motherhood. And get this, her sons, all 10 of them, are the suns themselves.
Hold on. 10 sons who are sons.
Yep, you heard that right. And they all live on this incredible mythical tree called the Fusang. It's this giant glowing tree in the heavens, and it's supposed to be the embodiment of life and rebirth.
So she's got 10 sons living in a magical tree in the sky. What does she do with all of that?
Well, that's where the driving comes in. Every single day, she drives a chariot across the sky, carrying one of her sons, one of the suns.
So she's in charge of making sure the world gets its daily dose of sunlight.
Precisely. It's this incredible image of celestial routine, and you can really see how it ties into the ancient Chinese understanding of order and balance.
Makes you wonder what our ancestors thought when they looked up at that single sun every day, knowing that there were 9 more up there just waiting their turn.
Right. It definitely adds a whole other level to the idea of what's out there. But like a lot of myths, this one takes a bit of a turn.
Uh-oh. What did those sons go and do?
Well, you know how sometimes you just want to change things up, and maybe you're feeling a little restless, a little bit too confined? That's what happened to the 10 sons.
They get tired of taking turns.
Something like that. They decide, hey, let's all go out there together. They think their combined power will make the world a brighter, happier place.
They had good intentions. But I have a feeling things didn't quite go as planned.
You think? Imagine what would happen if we suddenly had 10 suns blazing in the sky.
Let me think. Mass sunburn. Global warming on overdrive?
More like the Earth turning into a scorched wasteland. Rivers and lakes dry up, plants wither. People are struggling to survive. It's total chaos.
Yeah, that sounds pretty disastrous. Too much of a good thing, right?
Exactly. Even something as vital as sunlight can become destructive if it's too intense.
It's a great illustration of the yin and yang principle, isn't it? The need for balance in everything.
Totally. So the world is in crisis. What happens next?
Well, luckily for everyone, there's a wise and compassionate ruler named Emperor Yao. He sees his people suffering and knows he has to do something.
What does he do? Send a strongly worded letter to the suns.
He goes a little more hardcore than that. He calls upon Hu.
And who is Hao Yi in this story?
He's a legendary archer known for his strength and his skill.
So the emperor sends an archer after 10 sons. That's pretty bold.
Bold, and some might say desperate times call for desperate measures. Yao tasks Hao Yi with shooting down the extra suns.
Wow, that's quite the assignment.
Right. Imagine aiming an arrow at the very sun itself. It takes incredible courage and skill.
Talk about pressure.
Yeah.
So what happens? Does Hao Yi actually succeed?
He does. He manages to shoot down 9 of the suns, leaving just 1 to light and warm the earth.
He's like the ultimate hero. Talk about saving the day and the world.
Right. And it's interesting because even though 9 of her sons are gone, he keeps doing her job. She continues to drive the remaining sun across the sky.
She's committed to keeping things in balance even after this crazy upheaval. It says a lot about her dedication, her strength.
Exactly. This myth is packed with so much symbolism. But what do you think the overall takeaway is for us today?
Well, I think it speaks to the importance of moderation. Even good things in excess can become harmful. This ancient myth highlights the ancient Chinese understanding of balance in nature, and that's something that's relevant across cultures. It's this timeless wisdom.
I couldn't agree more. It's a reminder that we need to find that balance between opposing forces in every aspect of our lives.
And it's especially relevant today, don't you think? We live in a world where more is always better. More stuff, more choices, more information. It can be overwhelming.
Absolutely. It's like the 10 suns all over again, just in different forms. Information overload, overconsumption, you name it.
Sometimes less really is more. Well, that was quite a deep dive into the fascinating myth of Xihe and the 10 sons. Thanks for joining us.
It was a pleasure. I always love exploring these myths with you.
Me too. And for our listeners, we've just scratched the surface here. We explored this ancient Chinese myth and discovered a powerful message about moderation and balance. This story might be thousands of years old, but it still has a lot to say to us today. What are some examples of too much of a good thing that you see in your life? And how can you bring more balance to your own world? Something to think about until our next deep dive.